Welcome to the next room. Yeah. Welcome to the next room. From the field on my way to the next room. Welcome to the next room.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Next Roll. I'm your host, Vernon Davis. Today, we have a very special guest. This guy is a producer, an entrepreneur, just a creator. Please welcome David A.R. Wright.
Thank you.
David, I want to say thank you, man. I know you're a very, very busy man. And for you to come onto my podcast it means a lot to me.
My pleasure.
It means a lot. So David, before I get into the bulk of the conversation, I want to ask, so what's going on with you now? What's going on today?
Today is kind of nice, actually. You know, AFM is going on, the American Film Market, in Santa Monica. Actually, it's not. Since Century City is this year, where they changed it up. It was in Vegas last year, and before that, it was always in Santa Monica every year. It's always in November, the first week of November, and so that's where that's where we get together. With all the buyers from around the world, they come in, and then that's where they purchase your movies, and you start talking to them. So I was there yesterday, and today I'm off from there, but I'll be there tomorrow and be there through the week. And so yeah, we're just selling a new movie and trying to finish it. So it's called Straight Shot.
Nice. Okay. I got to ask that question because I know you're always up to something, man. It's just your day-to-day must be. I would love to have a camera and just follow you around and just kind of see.
My kid's a little later, so that's yeah.
No, that's awesome.
My daughter's like, I want to go to the mall, Dad. I'm like, why?
That's funny. So David, what was the moment for you when you realized that storytelling was more than entertainment?
That's a good question. More than entertainment. I mean, I think it's always been kind of along this, kind of along the lines, both. I mean, when I was a kid, growing up in a small town outside of Dodge City, Kansas, I was on a tractor in the middle of a wheat field, and I had this dream and they kind of both. I had this dream to be an entertainer, but also to tell stories. So it was kind of always there. I don't think I ever, deciphered them and split them up.
Okay, so you just had a dream as a kid to tell stories. That was your thing.
Yeah. Well, that and to be an entertainer as well, So they were they both kind of went together. I mean, being on a TV show or whatever, like if you're on a cop drama or something, isn't necessarily being an entertainer, but it is entertainment, to some sort. And you're also telling stories. So no matter how you do it, if you're in the entertainment industry, I think you're also telling stories.
Right. Do you believe that how we act as kids, like everything that goes on in our lives as we grow from kids to young adults and then adults, do you think that follows us all the way up until adulthood? Is that the reason why you're still telling stories? Is that a thing for us as human beings?
Yeah. It's a good question. I mean, like, I think in some ways, sure. For me, it is. I always wanted to be in the entertainment industry. Here I am, and working on farms in Kansas, and so it was. It's. I always knew from I think around a freshman in high school that was the path. I loved Hollywood, and I loved the movie industry as a whole, from telling stories and making movies and entertainment. And so, and I still have it today. It hasn't left, and it's been 30 years, So, but is it that way for everybody? I don't really know. I mean, I think everybody is different in some ways. Like, my son's 19 and he doesn't really know what he wants to do yet. He's still trying to figure that out. So that seems to be kind of a common theme in kids today, is that it seems the majority of them aren't really clear on their vision.
As a father, what are you telling your son?
I mean, for me, I keep saying, just pray for wisdom from the Lord, that he'll give you that dream and desire that he'll put in your heart. And I've been praying that with them since they were little, all my kids since they were little, but I just, for whatever reason, he doesn't have that yet. So that's okay. You can't, my middle daughter seems to think she does have it. So it's easier. He wanted to be a basketball player, I always make the joke, I can't really make the joke as much anymore because I used to say, well, you're white, so you, 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 you know, uh, but, and not just your last name. But now he's 6'4", so the Lord did answer that prayer. He became pretty tall. So, he probably could have went into it, but I think that vision left him. And so it hasn't been replaced yet.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, no, no, that's awesome. So what I usually tell, so I have 3 kids, and what I tell my kids, the same thing I tell young guys who look up to me. I'm like, as long as you just have the momentum, you'll eventually figure out what it is that you want to do.
yeah.
You'll
Yeah, I
find it.
agree. It's like, yeah, keep moving, just keep moving. And eventually the pieces will come, into your sights.
Exactly. The pieces will fall right where they need to fall. David, you want a lot of hats. Producer, entrepreneur, a brand builder. Which one seems to be the most challenging?
Uh, well, the entertainment industry is always challenging. I think, yeah, I think it has always been that way. And so whether you're producing, acting, directing, writing, like it's always hard to create something that is good. So which one's harder? I don't know. I think it's which one do you have most passion for? I still perform and act a lot in my movies, and so I'm passionate about that. But I'm also passionate about telling the stories. So the producing side, kind of comes along with it. Writing, I found that is not my, I'm a better rewriter. That's not my gift. There's a whole lot smarter people that, are able to do that a whole lot better and directing the same way. And so, I would say those would be harder for me because they're not really my passions.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, and you just figured that out just from trial and error, just going, like I said, with the momentum, and that's how you figured that this X, Y, and Z was the thing that you're passionate about, correct?
Yeah, I mean, kind of back to what you were saying, I mean, when I would sit down to try to write a script, it was just painful and it wouldn't turn out very good. If I was, the inception, I'm great at coming up with ideas, but that middle ground of actually writing the script is tough. So, in the same way about directing, I directed I think 7 movies, and so I I realized every time it was like, this is so hard and it's time consuming, and you really have to have a love to be in every moment of the movie.
What are the parallels between directing and acting? Is there, from directing, do you find that it makes your acting abilities easier? What's the common ground there?
Um, yeah, I mean, directing is directing a lot of actors along the way, and so as an actor, that's super. That certainly is a whole lot easier for me. I understand actors, and I understand where they're coming from, and how they are working on their characters and all that stuff. Everybody's different, but when you grow up in it and you end up studying like all the different methods, you have a pretty good at vast understanding of it. So and what people how they pursue it. So that's easy, but on the technical side of it, that's not my gifting. And so I really wasn't very good at telling the DP what lens to use or that kind of stuff. And the minutia of like even, when somebody's picking up a cup of coffee and having to go down to that coffee or whatever, if and the movement of that stuff just wasn't my gifting, so to speak.
Yeah, and when you're developing a story, what's the first thing you look for? Like, not a story, but a project. What's the first thing you look for? Is it the story, the people, or the potential?
Yeah, I mean, as of now, like, we've produced, I think I've produced maybe 60, 70 movies, something like that, and quite a few TV shows. When we built PureFlix, and then when the SVOD came around, pureflix.com, we did a ton of shows. So for me it was like I would create things from, hey, I love that, let's do that. And the faith-based industry was like wide open. So we were able to do comedies, stand-up shows, dramas, cop dramas, all the whole wider range from the God's Not Dead franchise. Like it was there were so many different, it was just wide open, which is great. But now when I look into, and I wasn't in a lot of those things, I was in some of them, but again, we were feeding a whole, basically a whole SVOD. So it had to be something for everybody. It wasn't just about my and we had a ton of people working for us, and we were making a lot of content. So, but now, because I'm out of that range, and now it's kind of like I'm doing one movie a year, maybe two movies a year. It's got to be something that I'm passionate about, because I'm performing in most of these at this point. So, like, we just finished a movie called Straight Shot, that is with Dolph Lundgren and Tyrese Gibson and Rachel E. Cook and just a whole bunch of people like that. And but it's a great story that I also could see myself doing on the performing side as well as the producing side.
Oh, that's amazing. You just mentioned PureFlix. I can see a lot of people's faces right now. They're like, this is the guy who created PureFlix? Oh my gosh, this is a great conversation. That's what they're saying right now, David. I didn't want
Yeah.
to lead with that on the intro because I wanted to kind of just ease into it and let you pretty much tell the story about who you are. PureFlix is a wonderful platform. This, especially for those who are looking for Christ-like films, Christian films, and things of that nature. It's beautiful. I know a lot of people who are diehard fans of PureFlix, and I remember when I had an opportunity to be a part of a project on PureFlix. I mean, I had so many people calling me. It was like, "Oh man, this is
Which one were you in?
God, what's the name of? Gosh, it was a series. It was the series I was in. I can't. Gosh, I'm drawing.
Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I'm trying. You know what? It's everything starts to run through my mind with this creativity stuff, man. I can't. It's the. I played the character, the football player who was dying from liver damage.
Was it one of the Encounter episodes by any chance? Was it a TV show or a movie?
It was a show.
Hmm. Well, when you think about it, let me know.
Yeah, let me.
I'm
drawing
curious.
blanks, man.
I'll just Google you too.
Everything's running together, man. I can't even. David. You know where I'm at right now. I'm here in Las Vegas with HGTV. I'm doing a show called Rock the Block, which has been super cool, man. We've been working some crazy hours, crazy days, and
You look wide awake though. You don't look like you're sleep deprived at all.
oh no, I get my rest. I get my rest because we go 4 days straight. But I get up at 5 a.m. and I get done at like 5 p.m. But this show has been amazing, man. Like I've been I've been a part of the world of flipping homes and renovation, but I never really had the passion for design until now. Like design was just something that was cool, but now that I'm doing the show, like, oh, man, I'm just like, I'm loving it. I learned so much from renovation and design that now I want to go on after this and just kind of just keep it going in a sense. But it's been amazing.
That's fun. Where do you stay when you're in Vegas? Are you off the strip or are you on the strip?
I'm kind of off the strip. They had me staying in Fremont. They set us up in a condo, gave us a car, and they take care of us, man. They pay for our meals. That's one thing I love about production. You don't have to worry about nothing.
I know. It's a bit of a vacation.
Yeah, it's like vacation. As an actor and creator and producer and everything, it's an interesting world, but it's an amazing world, especially for someone like myself who's just starting their career in the space. But Dave, you work with some big names. What's the key to getting out authentic performances out of big names, A-listers?
Mm. Mm. Well, it depends on where they're at, like we've worked with people all over their careers, whether they're it's just a matter of, some of them also have, substance abuse problems or alcohol, or like, it's like, and if you're dealing with that, it's just, it's tricky, because you're when you're producing a movie, you're producing something that sells, and you have to have, there's the stars are what balance your market out.
Mhm.
So so we've had some of those that are difficult. It's just, to each their own. Some of them are easy, and they're like, they're grateful to be there, and they somehow have kept that fire inside of them, even though they've gone through it too a lot of times. So I just think, I don't, there's not an easy answer to that. meaning like, some of them are difficult, and some of them won't leave the hotel rooms when you're done. And and it's like you if I could write a book and tell all the stories about the celebrities I've worked with, would be really funny. But that's kind of a violation of their privacy, so I can't do that. But some are great. I'll leave it at that. I mean, we've done like 70 movies, so just imagine how many people have come through our doors.
Then you got to go to them, man, and get the rights, man. You got to say, hey, look, I want to create this project, and I need.
Yeah, I want to tell the story about you. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, yeah. That'll be funny, man. That'll
That
be
story
funny.
when you were drunk and you, or the story when you went missing in Mexico
That's
and we couldn't
hilarious.
find you for 2 days, and then we thought you were dead.
Oh my goodness.
Story where you wouldn't leave the hotel room in New York City. Yeah, those are good stories. Yeah, those are great.
Those are good stories. What do you, Dave? What's the like with you wearing so many moving parts with you, man? Like so many moving parts. What's the process for you of staying creative? How do you tap into your creativity and stick with it?
Uh, I mean, I think it comes back to your passion, What is your passion of, like, what is it that why did you and this is something that you have to remind yourself, especially being in something for 30 years, right? You got to remember why you're doing it, which that question comes up a lot, because it's like, what are you trying to prove? Well, I'm not trying to prove anything other than a little bit still that it's still a challenge for that's the interesting thing about being creative, is that you're only as good as your last film. But what are you going to do on your next one? you know is it going to be good or bad? And especially when I perform in them, and when I'm playing the lead actor on these things, then it's even more. I have to find something that's challenging to me, that I also think would be fun, and hopefully have a good message, and a good, at the end of it all too, that at the end it serves the audience in some way.
Mm, mm. So when you so something with a good message, but in that message there has to be uh something that they um something that they were like, how do you determine like what are all the different tangibles that need to go into a script in order for it to be good, though? You know what I'm saying? Because there has to be different things, something that they're going after, something that they want, right? At the end of the story, they have to achieve. There has to be some kind of achievement by the end of the story, right?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, there's good movies and there's bad movies. So I think the first step is just don't make a bad movie. And then the next part of it is try to make a movie that that lines up with the formula, whatever that formula is, because every movie is different. If it's a comedy, the formula is different than if it's a drama, or if it's a sci-fi, or if it's a thriller. The thriller is, you got to keep people on the edge of their seats, like wondering what is around the corner, that type of thing. But if it's an action thing, then you got to make sure that the action is really fun to watch. So and at the core of it all is that through line of the character of, whoever's the lead person of that show.
Okay.
And then it's all, colliding to that third act where people are wondering, is he going to die, live, what's going to happen at the same, are the couple going to get together? Are they, just depends.
Yeah, and
Depends on
David,
the formula.
and did someone teach you how to be an actor, or is that something you developed from producing and directing?
Oh no, I mean, like, I took my craft very seriously. In the fact, when I arrived in LA, I went to Chicago for a year of school, where my whole family had gone, and then I came out here when I was 19 and got dropped into Hollywood, by myself. No money, hardly any money. I just started hustling and trying to figure out, well, what can I do for a job, and I had all kinds of weird jobs. And then I was really fortunate, though. 6 months after, I ended up on a hit television show at the time called Evening Shade with Burt Reynolds. And Burt was obviously a big star. I knew who he was. I was raised Mennonite. So, like, my dad was a Mennonite pastor. If you don't know anything about the Mennonites, the joke is the Mennonites make the Mormons look like a pack of Hell's Angels, right? They were wild, which they're not. And so the Mennonites, we were super conservative. I saw one movie in the theater the first 18 years of my life. So why in the world would I be in the movie industry? except that I had this dream inside of me that propelled me to it. So when I got dropped here, I was well aware that I didn't really know how to act. I'd never had an acting class. And
Mhm.
I started going, and I started going to all these different, um, there's all kinds of different techniques, from Uda Hagen to Strasberg to Stanislavski to, they're all, they, and they all serve an actor in different ways. And so it was, for me, it was like, okay, I landed on this television show, and everybody on the show had won an Oscar, Emmy, or Tony. And I come on there. I was just I played the best friend of Burt Reynolds' son, and I didn't know who any of the people were because I didn't really grow up watching movies. But I did know who Burt Reynolds was, and so I just watched him. And then I started getting to know all these other people: Hal Holbrook, Ossie Davis, Ruby Dee, Elizabeth Ashley, Charles Durning. Like, you know, I mean, it was an unbelievable experience, and then I realized, "Oh my gosh, I need to study too." So, I studied for a long time, and I still try to work on my art form in between my movies.
Mhm. Yeah, the art form. That's cool that you say that. And let me the audience, the listeners will be highly upset if I didn't ask this question. What made you want to start Pure Flix?
Yeah, well, I mean, again, I grew up as a Christian, and so, I was well aware that coming into Hollywood, obviously, my first 10 years were doing television. So I went from Evening Shade, doing that 3.5 years, and then going on to all kinds of different shows and different commercials, and everything was, I mean, I was just like a typical actor. I would have my ups, and then I wouldn't need a job, and then I would be, it would the level off, and I'd need a job, and then it was go get and whatever job, regular job. I can work at AT&T. I could work at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I could be a waiter. I was constantly on another job, and then I would get an acting job, and then I would go back to acting. But then I realized that I also wish that I had, could tell the stories and could be more part of. I always wanted to be a producer as well. I wanted to kind of run the show in some ways. And so I felt like, well, maybe I should just do it early. And at the time, I was being cast in these little Christian movies. They were like 30-minute things for Focus on the Family, or these big ministry organizations. And I realized there was no market for Christian based entertainment. Like, it didn't exist. This is the 90s. And so a buddy of mine, we got cast in this Christian film together for Youth for Christ, and we just started talking. His name's Kevin Downs. He did the I Can Only Imagine movie, Kurt Warner movie. Like, Imagine, I Can Only Imagine 2. I think it's coming out soon, 6 months or something like that. Like, he's done a lot of movies. Jesus Revolution, you know. And so we both started producing together. We produced our first 4 movies together, and then he wanted to go in the studio route. I wanted to kind of go in the independent route, which is where PureFlix came from. I just realized there was no production and distribution company for these faith-based movies. And that's where the inception. And Michael Scott, of course, was my business partner, and Russell Wolf, and then Elizabeth Travis came in, and then we built PureFlix. So we ran that for 20 some years before Sony purchased it from us.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. That's a great story, man. And how do you define success now compared to when you first started?
And I think when you first start, you just want to become a movie star. That was kind of my, in some way, shape, or form. I didn't really know exactly what that meant, but that meant, you could star in movies, and you could make money, and, you know, uh, but now it's different. And I think once you achieve, like, you would know this, once you achieve success, it becomes less about trying to climb up that mountain and more about, what's the purpose in all of it, or like, what is the purpose in doing this next project. And then because time is, the most valuable commodity that we have, especially if you have kids. You realize that you want to give the time to your kids, um, and you have to choose wisely about what you put your energies into.
Hmm. That's right. That's cool. Your thinking and your perspective on things, and like just energy, because energy is very important. I tell my kids that all the time. I tell people that all the time. The energy goes a long way. It's it's just something we have to really focus on. But the more discernment you have, the more wisdom you have, you're able to pick up on energy. That's what I've noticed throughout my career, throughout my life, and it's a beautiful thing. What's the what's the biggest one of the biggest lessons you faced in your journey?
I think that Hollywood or any you know anything you want to accomplish isn't easy. I think that's where the struggle comes, that you hit your head against the wall so long that you want, why in the world is this so difficult? But you also have the flip side of that. Well, if it wasn't difficult, everybody would be doing it. So, you know, it comes with a work ethic, and no matter what it is, so obviously there's who fly into town, into Hollywood, and not many people. Let me rephrase that. There is a few people who are able to come in and then everything seems fine and they catapult up the ladder in whatever it is, whether they're a producer, director, writer, or actor, and they become, a star of that thing, whatever that is. But the majority, the other 99% of people who come to Hollywood, uh, or get into the film industry, it's a struggle, and it's an I love that line from Jerry Maguire. It's an uphill, pride swallowing siege every day. And so, um, no matter what it is, and yeah, you have it levels off at some point, and then it seems like, once you get into production, you raise the money and you have, and you're going fine and you're creating something really cool. But at the same token, production's hard. Every day is hard. Being a parent is not the easiest thing on the planet either. I mean, not for me anyway. I'm sure you probably have it easier. You just fly through perfectly, but kids they have their own personalities. So you're just trying to be a good dad, uh, and also direct them, to where, you know, they land well.
Yeah, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I try to be an example because I feel like if you're an example, your kids around you, they pick up on the energy, they pick up on what you're doing, they're watching you. So a lot of times you don't really have to say much. Maybe you have to get on them at times and correct them in certain areas of their life, depending on the situation. But as in that being a great example, um, I feel like it's truly something that goes a long way. Um, if you could go back, if you could go back in time, your younger self, there's a lot of things that we have to face, a lot of things that we face during our journey as we start from young men to grown men. I want to go back and change a lot of things that I did and wish I can fix them and do it another way. Is there anything you'd like to go back and change?
Nope. I just had a perfect, easy route.
Yeah, right.
Can't believe you wants to change things. No, I mean, what do I change? I think the biggest thing, as I would tell myself, and and I, hopefully tell my kids this also, is I'm a big believer in just trust God, right? Proverbs 3, 5, and 6 talks about trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. And then it doesn't have to be so hard. Stop stressing. In you look in, I was listening to a sermon this morning, and you listen to, like, Jesus didn't have, there was nowhere in the entire Bible that talks about how Jesus had a stressful day. Like he was stressing out. No, no matter what was happening to him, even on the cross, I mean, brutal, right? But he wasn't, maybe when he was praying right before he was about to be crucified before the Lord, maybe he was having some stress there. But other than that, you don't read anything about, but he was crying out to the Lord, and then he seemed like he trusted God in it. And I think so often, I think it's human nature, is because we're not God like Jesus was. But we stress about so many little things, and I think that stress causes tension with relationships, tension with our children, tensions with our spouses, tension, and when we could say, well, you got to make, when you're younger, you have to make a living and you got to provide, and you do have these different stresses maybe in different ways than you do when you're a little bit older. But at the core of it all, it's still about trusting God in the process of it. And even when we screw up, he's always there. It's when we screw up, we like to go away and we think that, well, it's God's being distant from us. But no, it's actually just us going away from him, as opposed to, he didn't say, well, hey, if you screw up, don't come to me. He said, no, no, always come to me. Kind of like being a good dad. Even when our kids screw up, it's not like we were going to punish them and say, don't you dare talk to me for a long time, And I think that's what I would remind myself of, is just to rest. There's another verse, Isaiah 26:3 says, "Be still." No, that's not true. But I do love that one. Be still and know that I'm God. If we just rest in Him and His purpose for our lives, um, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I definitely think it would be easier.
Yeah. Yeah. You made a lot of valid points, and a lot of things that you're saying, be still and all of that stuff is something that I can relate to, because I'm a God-fearing man. I love worshiping God. I try to get up every day with an attitude of just treating people the right way and doing the right thing. Like I tell my kids, do the right thing. And like you said, be still, do the right thing. And a lot of people, I think they just I don't know. I feel like, not judging anyone, but if we really paid attention and paid attention to what those words really meant, I think that would go a long way with how we react and act in certain situations. Well, a lot of situations. I'm sure you can attest to that.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And it's not an easy, again, I want to make sure that everybody knows, following God or isn't an easy thing to. You become a Christian and then all of a sudden your life is fixed. Like, no, like you're human just like everybody else. You struggle, but we can serve the most high God of the universe, who ultimately designed us for a specific reason, and He is with us always. So we can rest in that.
Yeah, and a lot of things too, David. I've lost so many people along the way. I lost my brother and sister. I lost my brother at the beginning of the month last year in April. I lost my sister, 28-year-old sister, at the end of the month. So I had to bury both of them. As you can imagine, that's a lot of pain, a lot of trauma,
Brutal.
a lot in the process of that. I learned that there's no reason to get up angry, upset, or stressed, because you have another opportunity to breathe. As long as you got your breath, there's really nothing to worry about, because if you didn't have your breath, then how can you worry? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's like that, the very core of it all. That's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. David, I just want to remind everyone that they can not only get this episode, but every episode I've done. All they have to do is click that button on Apple and Spotify and follow us on YouTube as well. It will be sent directly to their phone automatically. That's all it is. Come on, y'all. Let's do it. David, what's one, how can I say this? What's one movie, show, or documentary that maybe changed the way you see storytelling?
I mean, you mean just of any show or something that I've done?
Yeah, it could be a show, a movie that you've watched and something that gave you inspiration, or maybe something that you've done. Maybe you went back and watched it and said, okay, I'm gonna do this way. I'm gonna do it that way.
Yeah. I mean, like, you have your favorite movies. It's hard, obviously, the longer you're in this, because there's so many good ones along the way that you go, wow, the creation of that movie was amazing. You take Braveheart, right? I mean, that's an older movie, but Mel Gibson did an unbelievable job directing it. I don't know if no, Randall Wallace wrote it, but he directed it and then he starred in it, right? And that thing is the is amazing. I look to Sylvester Stallone too, because I'm always amazed. Rocky versus Drago just came out this last week for Stallone. After 40 years, he recut it, and I think he had written, directed, and starred in that one, right? And so and I was remembering, because I was in the theater this last week, a couple days ago, and I went to see it because I wanted to see the 40 minutes of unseen footage before and see how that, we just had, I was fortunate enough to just have Dolph Lundgren in my last movie as my bad guy. So it was kind of fresh into my mind. But I was amazed always at Stallone's way of from an actor's perspective, how in the world did he write and direct? And then also he was in incredible shape along the way too. I'm sure, he had help with the whatever the different nutrients he was putting into his body along the way. But as a whole, though, it was an extraordinary feat of which he accomplished, and he did it over and over and over again. And so, to me, that is something that I look at, and I'm like, or Mel Gibson in Braveheart, like what they did with the entire battle scenes and everything is just crazy. And yet there's still that focus, on every moment of their performances. Are specifically Mel Gibson in that performance was amazing. So, but there's all kinds of those. Like when the first John Wick came out, I love action movies, and that's what I've been doing as of recently. Just made our second one, and I'm about to do my third. Straight up action thrillers, and like in John Wick, that's incredible what they accomplished and what Keanu accomplished as a performer on top of it. So, I would just say there's a
No,
lot.
Dave, let me do this real quick because it's bothering me. Let me just get the name of this for you real quick. Oh,
Sure.
let me see. Hold up. Here we go. Hold up. I got to tell you this. There you go. Got it. Going Home.
Ah, nice. I see. I didn't produce that one. We just distributed it, but
You distributed. Okay. Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
did. Yeah. So that was on your platform. I did. I had a chance to play a character dying from liver failure. It was amazing, man. It's beautiful. A lot of people said they couldn't watch it because it was just so, it was just, it was
Raw.
just raw, man. It was just raw. Even for me, like I watched it. Well, as I was going along, just being a character, because like when you do it so much, when you're acting and you're in the space of creativity, what happens is there's a shift, there's a change in your performance. Everything starts to live within. You don't even have to think twice about it. It becomes so natural. Like everything, if you're playing a certain character and you have some time to break that character down, give them some identity, giving them a backstory and all those different things, it lives inside of you. And so as you're spending time, I tell everyone, you're spending time with this character that you're creating. So you're becoming this character, whether you like it or not. And then when you get in front of that camera, it feels beautiful. It feels amazing what's living inside you, man, from an emotional standpoint. So um,
Very
that
therapeutic in some ways. It's interesting.
very therapeutic,
Yeah.
especially we've all dealt with trauma. So I also tell everyone that's a healing process for me as well because of everything that I had to go through in life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how that is like life imitating art. It's certainly or is it the reverse, art imitating life? It kind of can go both ways, but I find in a lot of the things that I do, I'm right exactly there too. It's like, oh, it feels like I'm living what's happening on the outside too. The art is just imitating what is happening in my life at the same time from the emotional standpoint, you know?
Right, right. I have to go back and relive the moments from my brother dying to my mother dying, just everything I saw as a child. I have to relive those moments. I I don't want to, but you learn as a part of the craft. Once you can accept it, then you can become it. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm saying. It's a beautiful thing and it's healing because I wouldn't necessarily go back and just tap into those spaces if it wasn't for the acting. So by me going back and tapping into those different things, it just creates this healing within my soul.
It's like you get 2 options. You can either go to therapy or you can just do a movie.
Exactly. Well said. Well said. David, if someone made a film about your life, who would play you?
No idea. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know that that would be, that interesting of a movie to in some ways, I did a movie called Holy Man Undercover years ago, which was basically about it started out, it was a one-man show, and it was about coming from a Mennonite background, right? And then coming to Hollywood. And so, but it wasn't funny enough, and so I ended up making the guy Amish, because Mennonites were close to Amish anyway. So it was an Amish guy coming to Hollywood to be an actor, and then he gets cast as Satan on a nighttime soap opera.
Mhm.
And so, that was a little piece of what my life was ish. But I always found that it would be way better if it was just more absurd than the actual life experience, which I think is what we've seen in some ways. Like, you just even look at the last Elvis movie, or what Buzz Lerman did to that thing is he just accented everything, you know. it made it a little more dynamic. I have no idea who played me. Ryan Gosling. There you go, Ryan Gosling.
David, I'm looking at the time. Gosh, man, this has been a great conversation, man. We getting close to the end. It happened so fast, man. I just, man, I have so much to ask you. But let me hurry up and get this
Yeah.
last just so you can get going. Coffee or late night grind? When do you get your best ideas as far as creativity?
Morning.
Wow. Morning. Okay.
Yeah.
For me, it's the late night. That's when I stay up until 2, 3 a.m. and that's when I get all of my creative flow going.
No, not me. I'm passed out. It's a
You-
push. It's a push to stay up past like 12 or 1.
If you could create and collaborate with anybody in entertainment, who would it be?
I don't know, because it's interesting because you have to like think about like their personalities on top of it, right? I know I was talking about Mel Gibson or Sylvester Stallone, but their personalities are both pretty. I don't know. Cool. Stallone still seems cool. I've never even met him. He's the one guy I haven't met, which is interesting because he was my childhood hero. I'll just say him right now.
Nice. Okay. All right. Rapid fire. Here we go. Any given Sunday or Friday Night Lights?
You know, I actually never saw the whole Friday Night Lights. I think I've seen one episode of that. So I'll say Any Given Sunday but again, that boy, Oliver Stone, man, he makes it's a little disconcerting. I don't know. Did you like Any Given Sunday? I
Oh, I
love
love Any Given
pieces
Sunday.
of
Yeah,
it.
I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome.
It was a little
Probably
dark.
gonna
Like,
I'm
it's a
probably gonna
little
lean
like,
more towards Friday Night Lights.
yeah, I mean, it's Friday Night Lights is a little lighter and yeah, it's like I felt like Oliver Stone pushed the underbelly of the sport, and that kind of made it a little less. At some point, it was too base, that kind of rocked my soul a little bit too much.
Yeah, no, I got you. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, David, founder of Uber or founder of Airbnb?
I don't know who the founder of Airbnb is, but I know the story of Uber because I saw it on the Netflix TV show. So I'll say Airbnb. I'm imagining he's a nicer guy.
Would you rather be a fly or read people's minds?
I think. I mean, I guess I'll read people's minds, but I'm not sure that I want that either. And I don't really want to be a fly because how.
I mean, all right? Final question, David. This is going to be a good one. I want to see what you're going to say. I think I know what you're going to say. Would you rather win a championship and only make $50 million, or would you rather have no championship and make $300 million?
Well, because I was never an NFL player, I like watching it, but I would probably take the 300 million. I feel like that I could actually pursue my other dreams.
I thought you'd rather take less and win the championship.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, of which we've never won a championship. A diehard Vikings fan. And, I'm used to poor Adrian Peterson never won a championship, and he was brilliant. And poor, I even hope Jay Jetta gets to win a championship.
Jay Jetta.
As we're going now, it doesn't even look, he's extraordinary in what he does, but, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Randy Moss was able to do it, but he had to leave us to go over, the Patriots.
Yeah, I know. Randy was a good dude. I don't know if you know, but he was a part of that Super Bowl 47 with me in San Francisco.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that.
Yep.
Well, so you say, I'm going to flip this question. I know it's not my podcast, it's yours. Would you rather win the championship? Because you did that.
I'd rather take the 50 million and win the championship.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I would. I just got to say it, Dave. I'm a team player, man. I'm a team player.
Well, that's the honorable thing to say. But see, you were in it, so it knows, how much that meant to you. That was something, bigger than me.
Yeah, no, David. Now look, I want to say, I know you got to go. I want to respect your time. Thank you for coming on to Next Roll. We appreciate it. I know you're a busy man, so thank you, everybody.
Like
A.R. White.
Vernon, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me. God bless you.
Thank you. I'll see you soon, Dave.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
Okay, bye-bye.
Welcome to the next row.